Hey folks, producer Matt here. Just chiming in real quick at the top of the episode to let you know this episode with the incredible Jala-chan of Jala-chan in Places and many other awesome things was recorded back in the summer, around July 20th or so that week. It was supposed to come out that following Monday, and then the strike for the writers had been going, but the strike for the actors had begun, and some strike rules for podcasting had come out that Rachel and I both tried to follow, also, of course, in solidarity, as we had been just with the writers as well. So we decided to shelve this episode because we did talk about major releases from major studios. And so now that the strike is over, we are able to release this episode, and we're very excited for you to hear it. But if there are some dated references and things like that, especially in regards to the strike, it is because this was recorded before the actors' strike really started. So just wanted to give you that heads up. We're excited to finally share this episode, and enough from me. On with the show.
I've got the looks and the charm of an old movie star. Cary Grant, if you will, so I find it bizarre that this girl should refuse to step into my car. She must be shy, she'll come around, it's just a matter of time. Aurora, Aurora.
Hey there, Screen Beans, and welcome to Screen Snark, the podcast that celebrates all of the shows that are in our eyes, on our minds, and in our hearts. I am Rachel Quirky Shank Pin Curls.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon, sweaty still.
Yeah, look at us.
Look at us, sweating to the oldies.
Sweating. I'm praying that I don't get too sweaty because, once again, listeners, I am doing something completely nonsensical to my hair.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're not
in the name of wrestling.
That's the real reason we're not a video podcast. Is
nope,
because Charles is always doing, or Rachel rather, is always doing stuff to their crazy hair.
Yeah, getting ready.
But enough about Rachel's hair.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about my hair.
I guess if we have to.
I'm so excited for our incredible guest. I was first introduced to her through Dave Jackson, who is a previous guest of the show, and we have since become fast friends, and I've become a fan of her podcast and the million other things she does. Honestly, the only person I know who does more than me, and that's saying something. We have the incredible Jala-chan with us today. Jala, welcome.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah. Not only are you a podcaster, you are a professional trainer, dancer, artist, like... The list kind of just goes on. I don't know how you have time during the day. Renaissance being. I love that. That's good. And we're so excited to have you here. We are going to talk more about all the different cool stuff that you do. But before we get to that, we are going to do as we always do, and we're going to talk about the most recent things we have watched. And I will, as always, continue to go first. I have some sad news. I haven't gotten any further in Owl House. I haven't had time to watch it. Sorry, Rachel.
It's okay.
I'll get back to it.
It's all right. Listen, I look forward to the reports if they come, when they come.
And also, unfortunately, I haven't gotten to see Barbie yet because I didn't buy tickets in advance, so that'll have to wait as well. But what I did get to watch is something that a previous guest, Keith, recommended, and I finally got through the first season. That's right, we're talking about The Bear, Season 1. I finally finished it last week, and then now already my spouse and I are through episode 5 in the second season, because we've become obsessed. It is incredible. As Keith mentioned in a previous episode, but for those who this may be their first episode, The Bear is this show about a really talented young chef who comes back home to his brother's restaurant after his brother passes away and finds out he was given the restaurant and now has to bring this restaurant like from the ground up back together. And the whole first season is this journey of him trying to step into the shoes of what his brother was doing at this restaurant while learning about how, what happened to his brother, trying to get along with his family, fixing things in the shop, mentoring people. It's really like, it's a high stress show that is breezy to watch because the episodes are only like 30-ish minutes. So it's not like...
I love that description. A high stress show. So easy to watch. Don't worry.
I think it's mostly because
like cake.
Most of the other like capital D dramas are like in 45 minutes to an hour, and they like kind of drag it out. This show is very punchy. There's still a lot of drama. There's a lot of humor in it too. I really like it. The cast is incredible. A bunch of actors and actresses I'd never heard of really before the show. My favorite fun fact about this show is, so it's a bunch of chefs and kitchen workers and bakers who the cast is playing. Meanwhile, their like kind of handyman around the shop and good friend is the only actual real life chef in the entire show.
Maddie Matheson.
Maddie Matheson, who plays Fact.
I love Maddie Matheson.
He's
yeah.
so great in it, but I think it's incredibly hilarious that was a conscious effort to hire a chef to play a character and then never let him cook. I'm sure he advises on the cooking stuff, which is also
Probably.
why he's on the show, but I think that's amazing. I didn't know that initially, and my spouse had told me, and I was like, oh my God, amazing. That's wonderful. The cast is great. The characters are great. I'm not going to talk about season 2 too much because we haven't finished it, but we are well into season 2. And every episode, when nothing bad happens, I just go, oh my God, please don't let anything happen to these beautiful babies. Which is how you know you're really into a show if you already feel that way about it.
Love the little babies.
I do. It's good. Rachel, I know you said you were interested in seeing it. Have you gotten around to watching it?
I haven't, but I do know that they drink water out of the big plastic to-go containers that you put soup in, and it's like, yeah, no, that's true.
That's true of a restaurant.
That is.
Have you worked at a restaurant?
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you hydrate. But like ice in it's the biggest container. It's the best choice.
It is the best choice. It's like
I miss them. I should get more of them. Honestly, I'm drinking out of this tiny baby glass.
my tiny baby glass
Nonsense.
is tinier and babier. Where's the camera? There it is.
Oh my goodness!
Because all the tall glasses are in the dishwasher.
It's so funny. I don't even drink water out of a glass because since trainer and everything, like I just have gigantic water jugs everywhere, and I just constantly have like a gallon of water with me everywhere I'm at. So, like I'm always drinking out of a big old jug.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who do that too, especially who are like very active or like running around all day.
I've got my big jug, but that's mostly for just going to wrestling school because we sweat.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, like I live in Houston, so it is like the heat index right now is egregious, absolutely egregious. And since it's humid, that means that you also are just constantly sweating. Your body doesn't know that you're sweating, so it's just continually producing more sweat. So the moment you step outside, you start melting. So,
yikes. Yeah, it's pretty unbearable here, and I imagine it's just worse there.
Yeah. So how many episodes is that show that you just finished?
So the Bear is 8 episodes is the first season, and I think the second season, which I'm working through now, is 10. And it moves pretty quick.
Cool.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. I think both seasons dropped all at once because we started watching the first season when the second season had already come out. I actually had no time awareness for how they were dropping, but yeah, it's really great. It's really entertaining. The cast is, I think, really incredible. And what I like about this show is on paper, I don't know that I would have watched a show about a restaurant, right? I like my fair share of sci-fi and fantasy and all of that. And I like shows that are about actual things and real life people too, or real-ish people. And so but I don't know. I kept hearing about it. I'm like, oh, I know they say it's good, but I'm not sure. And then we started watching it, and I immediately, there's something about a craft that, even if you're not a fan of it, if you see something that is made well, you can recognize how well it's made and enjoy it that way, even if it's not something typically you would enjoy. I find that with certain sports, too. Although I do like sports, if I'm watching an Olympic match or, a really a playoff game or something, when people are at the peak of their skill, that'll always be more entertaining to me than just watching just regular everyday stuff, like a regular elimination game or whatever.
Yeah,
Sports.
the one thing that I've ever watched that has chefs in it, there was one episode of a K-drama, and I caught it I can't even tell you how long ago, maybe 2009. And it was just a K-drama about a girl who is starting to work in a bakery, and she's getting bullied because she's a new girl and whatever. And, it's just, you get to see them make little desserts and stuff, and I don't know, whatever, some kind of drama, but also cute comedy stuff, because that's just how those types of shows roll. And I don't know, I really liked it, surprisingly. And then I was like, I really want to see more of this. And I didn't ever, I don't remember the name of it whatsoever. I need to hit up some of my friends who are really into, Korean TV shows to see if they can tell me what that was. Because this thing, oh man, I used to work in a Borders books. And so people would come in all the time. And they're like, that book, that new one with the red cover? It's like, really? You know how many books are on that table with the new releases? And you wanted to ask me about a book with a red cover. Yeah, I think it's about a guy and his dog died. Okay, that I can't help you, bro.
This is like that Lewis Black bit that come to life. The movie with the thing,
yeah,
with the guy did the thing. that
Yeah,
movie.
and there was this, oh man, there was this, when I worked at a video store, there was a dude who came in once, and he was so, I don't know if he was high or drunk or both. He came in and he's like, there was this show and there was a tree and there were a lot of apples. Yeah, there were a lot of red apples. You know that movie? And I'm like, no! Like, what? But my coworkers were just like egging him on because they were just like, oh, the apples! It was so, it was something else. But anyway, my only experience with like a show like what you describe is like one episode of a K-drama millions of years ago.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of shows about cooking either. I've seen the Jon Favreau movie, The Chef, which is very good also. And I think, again, for me, it's the subject matter is irrelevant if the thing is of quality.
Yeah.
I think that for movies and TV especially. And so, so I've really enjoyed The Bear. There is a good chance that Sarah and I finish the second season this weekend, but we'll see. But I've a little inside baseball. Rachel and I are recording another episode early next week because we got a guest that we really want to have on. And so it's like, I have to watch some kind of movie this weekend. Like, it's got to be different. I'm just not going to talk. I can't talk about The Bear a second time for second week in a row. So
You just reminded me, when am I going to watch anything?
technically Monday, right? Because
we'll figure it out.
Look,
Oh, no.
just
I'll
have someone watch
what?
a movie next to you in the car.
You've gotten me so hype about cooking shows. I'm like, oh, maybe I should watch a reality cooking show. Because you know me.
Yeah.
I love reality.
You haven't brought reality
competition.
TV on in a while either.
In a minute, yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's a lot of time. Takes up a lot of it.
It's true.
Every single time I've seen one of those reality cooking like competition shows, it's always when I'm like in a doctor's office and I'm waiting for my appointment and I never get to find out who wins because I get to like the last round and then I get called and then like by the time I come back out, it's like it's over, it's done. And I'm like, oh. And so I have on multiple occasions been like, who won that show? And I was Googling furiously, like, did my boy make it?
Amazing. I love that.
So
but yeah,
cute.
so The Bear.
Yeah.
You already knew it was a
The Bear.
hit, but I'm here to confirm it's great.
Yeah. Now we've got one half of the Screen Snark stamp of approval.
Correct.
On The Bear.
On The Bear. There it is.
Maybe one day we'll get the other half.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Look, it's taken me all this time just to start Owl House, so we move slowly here.
This is why our podcast is evergreen.
Yeah, it's
because
true.
we're never timely about anything.
Except the
At
fact
all.
that the WGA and SAG-AFTRA are both striking, and we support unions and fair
we're
wages.
Standing in solidarity with them, and also with the UPS workers who are maybe also going to go on strike.
Honestly, everybody should go on strike. Let's do it. Let's get better wages for everybody.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Hey, general strike, everybody.
Let's just do it. The whole country. Let's go.
Hey, the only true liberation we're going to find is through the emancipation of us, ourselves, the working class, outside of the confines of a political oligarchy. They're not going to help us. We got to help us.
Yeah.
So let's get helping us.
But enough about that. Let's go back to our stupid show.
Being beleaguered in the industry of food service, The Bear.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
If you had to describe The Bear in just 3 words, and you cannot use the or bear.
Damn.
I know. I've taken so many words from you today. How would you sum up this original series?
Like, I had 2 words of the alliteration, and like I really deeply want a third one, but I don't think I'm going to get it. So I'm just going to say awesome culinary classic.
Awesome culinary classic.
I really wanted that C word in front, but I was
It's
I was going to say cooking culinary, but I was like, it's the same thing.
Culinary classic.
All right, show off. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, Jala, not me.
It's true.
Yeah.
Hey, awesome culinary classic.
Look,
Still a tasty
I'm sure
dish.
Case will put them both in Discord because that's what Case does. I'm sorry, I invoked his name so early. I'm sorry, Rachel.
Yeah, why? I'm trying.
I know.
Hey,
trying to concentrate. All right,
cut it out.
all right. I'm gonna move us on.
That monster. No, not interested.
Rachel, what is the most
Yes.
recent thing that you have watched?
Well, I realized today, before sitting down here to this fine podcast, this fine program,
Fine program.
I ain't watched anything. I haven't watched nothing since the last time we sat down to
Amazing.
record. I mean, I've watched like new episodes of series that are coming out.
Sure.
What We Do in the Shadows has 2 episodes out. I've been making it through the latest season of It's Always Sunny, but I have brought those probably multiple times
So yeah, I think at this point
to this
several,
show.
at
So
least.
I can't. I will say, love what we're setting up in this new season of What We Do in the Shadows. What a fun game. Like last season, it was Baby Colin Robinson. That was sort of the like upending dynamic shift of the season. In this one, it's something else. I won't say what, but it's very fun. And you know they're having a blast with it. I talk about a show that's high stress but easy to watch right now. What We Do in the Shadows is doing that. And then It's Always Sunny is, of course, like
Yeah.
so still to this day, to this moment, still just ruling. So good. The bowling episode they just did, tasty. Loved it. But what I did bring was an independent piece
Ooh.
that's 30 minutes long.
Woo!
Very important.
Amazing.
I brought hold on. The 2015 action comedy Kung Fury.
Oh hell yeah!
So I
Awesome.
watched Kung Fury for the first time.
Oh, man, what
and
a
it's
thing.
wild as hell. Just the way I kept thinking about it in my head while I was watching it. You know, all of the really fun, over the top action sequences in Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Imagine just that. No plot between, just action sequence. There is absolutely a plot in this. There is a full-on 3-act structure. We love to see it. We're having a good time. But it is just really running from CG gun fu to CG gun fu, surfing on cars, surfing
So
on
dumb.
Nazis. It's mad. It's utter mad.
I hadn't realized you hadn't seen it already.
I'd never seen it, no. And my partner and I had been talking about it
Yeah.
a whole bunch.
I mean, it's memed to death everywhere.
Yeah, you should watch Kung Fury. You simply must. And was like, it's 30 minutes. So that was really a clincher. But I thought it was super fun. Definitely of 2015.
Sure.
We were the Adolf Hitler being the big bad guy as kind of a joke. Feels strange.
Feels appropriate.
In the year of our Lord 2023.
Yeah.
Because Nazis are a problem again. Great fun. Love that for us. But yeah, it's just, you can tell the folks that worked on it were a ragtag crew and they just wanted to make something.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that they worked their way around under whatever circumstances they were under to actually do some really good looking CG work.
Yeah.
Yes, it definitely looks very strange when Kung Fury is like spinning and they just took his image and like
spun
flipped
it,
him.
yeah.
Just like spun it, and I love that. It's very ragtag, it's very DIY, but it's still kind of like weirdly slick. Like I can't believe that it's so messy but also so like well thought out. I think I just love seeing people work under limited parameters and
Right.
still make something that is like fun
Yeah.
and entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, it looks bad but good. I think when you have a certain level of skill, it takes a certain level of skill to intentionally do something a little poorly, right? Like it's the same thing as like why people like, Twin Peaks and like the video games Deadly Premonition, which is a spoof on Twin Peaks, like things that are meant to be kind of halted and weird and strange, but like on purpose. It's not accidentally that way. It's not like they, in the same way that I don't know that I believe Venom 1 was on purpose kind of weird, but the sequel absolutely was. I mean that lobster scene in the first one, it's hard to say it wasn't on purpose, but like they definitely knew what they were doing for the second one. And like I think Kung Fury also is one of those movies where it's just like they know they're being
Yeah, they
absolutely
know this
stupid.
Is camp. Yeah, like this isn't the Room question where it's like, were we aware? Were we not aware? Like, what is Tommy Wiseau's like whole? He's taking this very seriously for something that's so. You can just tell that the folks on Kung Fury like knew every step of the way. You know, you can't just have someone go, weird explanation. I can hack time. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's why I like the Stephen Chow films, right? Like Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer. Like, those are intentionally goofy
love Shaolin
and
Soccer.
dumb,
Yeah.
but also some of the best martial arts you'll ever see in a film ever. Like, I love that kind of commitment to stuff. It's what we were talking about before, right? If anything's made well, even if it's made bad well, yeah, I guess that tracks. It can be really, really impressive.
Yeah.
I'm so excited you finally saw it. It's just such a good, dumb
it's
film.
So it's just like crotch shots. So that's wrestling, baby,
It
right
is,
there.
yeah.
You just commit to a bit for too long.
I feel like you appreciate
So
it more now being a wrestler also.
I really do, honestly, because Gaga stuff, I'm for it. I'm on an extra arc right now where it's just like everything should just be too much.
Too much,
honestly,
all the time.
Everything just overwhelming, high energy, too much.
I hate to tell
We're
you,
in.
but everything in life right now is too much.
Yeah, but you know what? If you just embrace it,
Yeah, exactly.
you can.
Isn't that what we're doing?
This is my survival tactic.
Jala, have you seen
Frankly.
Kung Fury?
I have not, but now that you mention it, I'm like, okay, so my partner Dave has his own podcast as well, but he actually has several. One of them is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Podcast, which is about,
Nice.
I have no idea if he's done that one or not, but if not, he would need to do that.
Yeah,
at some
sounds
point.
like it would fit right
It's-
into their shtick.
It's incredibly silly. It is. Kung Fury is the world's greatest cop who one day his partner gets murdered by a kung fu master, and in his rage lightning strikes him, and then a cobra bites him, and he gets kung fu powers and is the chosen one of kung fu,
Right.
now known as Kung Fury,
Yeah,
Of course.
of course, just like you do, right?
like you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And nothing else matters.
No, it's
at
true.
all.
Uh,
Great.
well, Rachel,
Yes.
if you
I'm
had to,
just thinking about it
I
again.
know.
It made me laugh. You gotta get rid of that mustache.
I promise listeners, if you haven't seen it,
Guys.
if you watch this thing, it's only 30 minutes. You'll
It's only
thank
30
us.
minutes.
You'll thank us.
I usually don't go. You should go watch this thing, but it's 30 minutes.
Go watch it. You'll thank us.
Yeah.
Rachel, if you had to sum up Kung Fury in just 3 words without the
Yup.
word
I
Kung
nailed
or
it
Fury.
already.
Oh, you got
Already
it?
here.
You got it? What
Already
3
got
words
it,
would
yeah.
you choose, Rachel?
It's 30 minutes.
Perfect. No notes. It's 30 minutes.
It's 30 minutes.
There you go. Best 3-word review in the history of Screen Snark.
As soon as I said it, I was like, that's 3 words.
Oh,
perfect.
perfect. Thank you for that, Rachel. Oh, that was great.
Of course.
Um,
That's what I'm here for.
right,
is
exactly.
Sometimes just have a manic attack.
Oh my
thinking
God.
About
we're
I'm
totally
getting
sane, I
struck by
promise.
lightning and bit by a cobra
At the same time.
at the same time, and then he's a kung fu master. I love it.
Amazing. Perfect. No notes. Well, now it's our incredible guest's turn. Jala, what is the most recent thing you've watched that you have brought to the table?
I have a story.
Oh, I love
Yes.
stories. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's do
So,
it.
as you already know from earlier, I already had other stories. Well, here's another one for you. Buckle up. Eventually, we'll get there.
I'm so excited.
So, I decided we were having a conversation in my little community online, on my little Discord server, about Transformers. And so I was like, I watched like the first of the Michael Bay Transformers, and then I just noped out for a while. And then one person was like, oh, well, like, Bumblebee is actually pretty decent of the Transformers movies. And then my partner and I went to some other movie, and we saw the ad for Transformers Rise of the Beast. And we were like, oh, these are dumb movies, but shiny. This is cool.
Yeah.
These are the Beast cool guys. Like, I want to go see the cool guys do the shiny things on the screen, so we were like, okay, let's just pre-order tickets. We're going to go watch this movie. I pre-ordered the tickets from AMC. I go to AMC, and I'm with my partner. We get our tickets. We go get snacks. We get to the theater, and it's moved. They moved it to a different theater. And the seats that we were assigned do not exist. They don't exist.
No.
They are not there. They put it in a smaller theater to put something else there, probably Enter the Spider-Verse, and as a result, our tickets did not exist. So we went back to the lady, carrying all of our snacks, going through the whole theater, massive theater, and get up to the lady. The lady tells us, well, the only seats that we have available are the nosebleed seats right in the front. And we're like, we went in there, we tried it, we went in there, and we sat down, and we're like, no. This is not going to work.
Can't watch a movie that way.
This is not a thing.
You can't watch a Transformers movie that way. You'll have an aneurysm.
Yeah. And so we were like, okay, this is not going to work. So we go back out, and then she's like, oh, well, we can give you a ticket to another movie. Well, they didn't happen to have anything else that we wanted to watch anytime within like an hour of when we were sitting there. And we already had our snacks and stuff. And so she ended up saying, oh, well, I can give you a refund. Okay. But then she says, oh, sorry, no, there's a problem with it, and I can't do a refund to your card. I have to give you a gift card. So now I have a gift card for AMC and had to sit sadly with my partner on a bench watching everybody else go to their movies and eat my stupid Beyond Nuggets and like pretzel nuggets, sitting there sadly with our shitty food, waiting to finish that off before we could leave. And now I have like this stupid gift card and I never want to see AMC ever again. I got home and I was so mad. I like tweeted furiously at AMC because I was like, maybe one of those people are going to see it and go, I'm so sorry, we will send you whatever, something.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not a word. I mean, of course, Twitter is a trash fire. Anyway, but whatever, I was so mad. So how does this play into anything? Well, we got home because we got home from that and I was like, there's nowhere else that we could really go because this was like a Sunday evening. So it's like we didn't really have anywhere else we could go. So we're like, okay, we'll just stream something. Well, when we were in the AMC, we were walking by and saw the poster for Expendables 4. I've never seen any Expendables ever. So we went home and we're like, okay, we're going to stream and watch Expendables. And that is what I watched. So
did it live up to the Rise of the Beast hype? I assume not.
No. No, not at all. So, like, Rise of the Beast would have been just as stupid, but at least it would have been shiny.
Sure.
Like, Expendables is fine. It's fine. Now, I can't say that, oh boy, this is such a great movie. Like, it's not. It's okay. I mean, whatever. If you like the actors that are in it, which most people have some kind of, cachet with them because these are all the action heroes from the last 30 years, right?
Yeah. Like,
then you will like to see them do the thing that they do on the screen. Cool. Honestly, the best performance, in my opinion, was Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, I'm not biased by the fact that I actually want to do a podcast about every movie Arnold Schwarzenegger's been in, but like the 5 minutes he was in the movie were like the best 5 minutes of the entire film. And that's it. I mean, like the cinematography actually wasn't really all that great, given the kind of like all-star roster. Did they spend all their money on getting the people to come in and then didn't pay like the crew enough or something? But boy, yeah, I mean, like the whole premise of the movie, like as if any of these movies actually really need a plot, shiny things blowing up, guns, fights. I don't know, but like the premise is a guy named Barney. Okay, Sylvester Stallone and his crew of guys are hired by, I guess, the CIA or FBI or somebody to go to somewhere in a Hispanic country to go take down a dictator. But no, the spoiler is, something else is going on there. Like they are trying to do something else entirely. They have a different motive for sending them there. Okay. And then that's it. But like the reason why it was actually kind of interesting to me was not because of the movie, but because of the stuff that I've been researching for my podcast. I do a lot of different stuff on my show. We will talk about that later, but right at the moment, all you need to know is I talk about life topics on my show as half of what I do. So therefore, I've been doing a lot of studying most recently on stuff about toxic masculinity. So, toxic masculinity, action stars that were like, the silver screen, epitome of what, toxic masculinity embodies. Like, they are just the embodiment of it, and they're old now, and they're on the screen doing the things that they do. Interesting, because within the first, like, 5 minutes, I was just like, oh, I don't know if I can watch this movie. Like, the movie came out in 2010, and the first 5 minutes or so are so rough on the toxic masculinity front. Like, it's just like the dudes are having like pissing matches and being heartless with one another, and one guy goes like way too far with, taking down some pirates or something. I don't know what they were doing anyway. Not important, just the fact that they have guns. And anyhow, somebody goes too far, and I don't know, they're all treating each other like crap, as toxic masculine folks do. And I was like, I don't know if I can watch this film. But it backed off of that. And then interesting to me was the fact that as the movie progressed, some of the characters were trying to open up and talk about feelings. And I was like, But then the one guy who's trying to talk about his feelings, the other guy who's next to him, I think it was Barney, was like, not having it. Don't want to hear it. Take your crap over there. I don't want to hear your crap. Suck it up. That kind of thing. And throughout the whole thing, he's doing this. But at some point, finally lets the guy open up. And then at some point, actually recommends he goes to therapy. And I'm like, wow, okay, there's some progress. They're trying to actually, like, give him some sound advice. Okay, like, maybe as they got older, they figured a few things out. That's cool. But it was just kind of wild because, like, through the whole movie, they're still doing their typical action movie stuff. But, there's, like, little nuggets of them doing a little bit better. And that was, like, back in 2010. So I'm kind of curious if, like, Expendables 2, 3, and the soon-to-be 4, like, what are those like when it comes to the interactions between the characters? Surely you folks have watched them. Everyone else has, I'm sure.
No,
I've
I haven't.
I've seen the
Yeah.
first one. I might have seen the second one. I had no idea there was a third one or a fourth one coming. And honestly, I didn't remember the plot of the first one until you just told it to me, which was barely a plot.
It doesn't need to even exist. I mean, it's like Kung Fury in that. That's not why you're there. You're not there for the gripping story or the emotional ride you're having.
You're not emotionally invested in Barbarian Arena.
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
So,
I remember it being entertaining when I saw it, but like you're right. Like I was going to see it at the time because I wanted to see Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham and all of these other action stars in one film together. That's the whole pitch. And like I know in the second one, I think Bruce Willis has a cameo. Maybe like they continue to just add like other older action stars to like the roster. And like Dolph Lundgren, actually, I think is a somewhat decent actor, and I've liked him in a lot of stuff. So like he was fun to watch in that film, but like most of the other actors are like, fine. I think your description that it was fine is the most accurate. And sometimes a fine movie is okay, but like if everything around it is not really that interesting, then there's not going to be much to keep you hooked to it, I guess.
yeah. And so, like, it was just interesting because we did actually, since we were streaming it, we paused the movie and I turned to my partner and I was just like, so, with the books that we've been reading lately, I think this is really kind of, and we had this whole discussion around the movie that was way more interesting than what the movie was presenting to us. But Dave got a little bit more out of it because he, again, is like into a lot of kung fu movies and things like that. And so he's like, oh, but those other guys that were over there, those are really good guys from Law. And I'm like, oh, okay, I believe you. I don't know. I will just trust that you know what you're talking about. I don't know. But for me, I was raised on every single Stallone and Schwarzenegger movie and Dolph Lundgren from like the 80s and 90s. And, I stopped watching action movies around then. So like some of the other people that are in there, I'm like, I haven't seen any of the movies. Who is this guy? Oh, well, that's Jason Statham. I don't know who that is. Like, I have never watched a movie with this man. Like, I don't know who he is. So that was very funny for Dave because he was just like, you don't know. And I don't, first off, I don't know names of things. And second off, like, what is he being? I was pulling up IMDb out a lot and just looking at it while we were watching the movie because, you don't have to pay avid attention. And I'm just like, he was in, he was in that. Okay. I think I saw something with that guy.
I mean, the funny thing about that is, like, the whole pitch of that film is, like, it's all these people that you know in one movie, and the fact that you don't have frame of reference for more than half of them makes it even funnier.
It's all the people you know. I don't know. What are they doing in my house? Hello.
Yeah.
These are strangers.
The only thing that I knew about Expendables other than, like, who was in the cast was just, like, the one advertisement for, I don't know, I guess it was 2, where, what was it, Schwarzenegger pulls off the door of the smart car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, that was just going everywhere for a while, and that's the only thing that I ever remember about anything. And so I was just like, that wasn't in the first one. I know that, because that was, like, a sequel. I already knew that this movie existed before. This is a franchise by the time that came out. But I remembered a commercial. Okay, like, cool.
Doesn't sound like this inspired you to watch the rest of the franchise.
It did not. I mean, like, I watched some stuff just for the sake of being social and hanging out with people. Because, like,
Sure.
here's the thing about me. Like, I like to watch stuff with people because I like to engage in the media actively in real time with folks and be able to, like, comment on it at, like, while we're going if we want to talk about it. Or if we're, like, spellbound, that we all stay spellbound together, and then right afterwards we just turn and go, that thing we just watched, wow, I love that. So
all right, well, not a ringing endorsement for Expendables, but I mean, I don't know that I would have given it one either.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the aggressiveness with which you said fine said everything. It's fine.
Gave you a clear picture of exactly.
Yeah, it's all I needed to know.
Well, Jala, if you had to sum up the Expendables without using the words the or Expendables, what 3 words would you just use to describe this film?
you see, I did research and I knew you were going to ask this before, and I already came up with one, but then I already said it was fine, and it was fine was better than what I was going to say, so
it was fine.
It's fine.
Amazing. I love it. It's 30 minutes and it was fun.
Yeah.
Matt, you had to take carte blanche on descriptors.
Yeah, all the descriptors.
Jala and I, we're just spitting the facts.
Yeah, you got
just the facts.
Just as important for a 3-word review is either being fun and flowy or just factual work.
It was fine.
Awesome.
It was fine.
This is so good. It's just we're knocking it out of the park tonight, folks. Sports reference.
This one's a real banger for you listeners.
Exactly. We're so great listeners. I mean, that's essentially what we're saying, right?
I'm literally patting myself on the back.
There we go. So Jala, first I want to talk to you about your podcast because I think it's really fascinating, and I came to it through guests that have been on the show who run in mutual discords that we're in. So talk a little bit about like how this show came to be, because like you said, it's lifestyle topics, but then you also did like a 3.5-hour episode on Just Metroid Fusion, one of my favorite games of all time. So like clearly there's a little bit of like, I want to talk about this, so we're gonna, but kind of talk about like the show and then like how it kind of came to be, like where the idea for this came from.
Sure. So first off, I've been podcasting for going on a decade now with Duckfeed TV. I am on The Level. I'm one of the rotating hosts of that show. That is a video game roundtable, and so everybody kind of brings whatever they're playing recently. We do multiplayer questions for the listeners to respond to, and then we talk about like whatever's cool that we happen to see that's in the news that week. And that's a weekly show. I'm not on every week. At this point, I'm currently on like once a month or something, but I still pop up there with some degree of regularity even to this day. So I've been doing that for a long, long time. And that's cool and all if I want to talk about a brief review of a thing.
Right.
Well, Cole Ross from Duckfeed also started doing bonus levels and expanding how much I'm talking on the network a little bit. Where we talk about visual novel games that we like and we want to talk about in greater detail. So he started doing that because there are many games that I have a very strong feeling about, And so he just wanted to give me a space to talk about that thing because it entertains people. So that's where that started, and every once in a while we would just do bonus levels. Well, along comes my partner, we get married, and my partner does editing and has been podcasting for a number of years on his own shows. And I've been guesting on his show. His main show is Monster Dear Monster, which is a monster exploration podcast that talks about the folkloric origins of different monsters and their current pop culture incarnations. Real cool. And so that I tried to shoehorn everything I could into that. I was like, we're going to do all of Riddick, and you want to know how we're going to do it? Because Riddick isn't really the monster. There's monsters in it, but really, society is the monster. You know, and so I shoehorned that in, and I was like, I want to talk about the movie Legend. Let's talk about Tim Curry as Darkness, you know, and like, I was like, oh, yeah. I need to talk about, and oh, you're doing the Never-Ending Story. I have to be on that episode. So I started just, you know, appearing on that show, and I'm like, I still don't have enough room because I was like, I watched the Robert Pattinson Batman, and after I got out of there, I had this huge conversation with like 2 different people, and it was like just as much conversation as the movie was long between these different discussions I had with people about a variety of different things. And I turned to Dave and I was like, Dave, I need to talk about this. Monster Dear Monster? And he's like, no, we can't. There's no monsters. And I'm like, but Dave, I need to talk about this. So that finally, I'd already been thinking about doing my own show. So when he told me no, I was like, oh, how dare? How dare? So then Jala-chan got her own place and turned into Jala-chan's place, which is my show.
Nice.
So that I could talk specifically about Batman. But then, of course, I also had wanted to do, like, because I'm a personal trainer and, you know, an artist and a lifestyle coach and all different kinds of things. So, like, I do a lot of stuff. I wanted to talk about wellness stuff and a lot of other, you know, exploratory growth things as well. And so I didn't want to just talk media. So from the beginning, I knew that I wanted to do more than that. And so I was just like, you know what? It's my show. I'm going to do it bi-weekly, and I'm just going to do one that's on media and one that's on a topic. And I'm just going to do my thing, and it's fine if it's for 5 people. Cool. I'm going to do it. So that's what I started to do. And, you know, it was interesting because I really felt like, oh, I expect that most people are going to tune in for only the media episodes that are about books or movies or games. I don't really think people want to sit and listen to me talk about, you know, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging for however many hours, you know. But come to find out, everybody actually really loves that.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I love that topic. I love that topic. Give me that subject.
So, like,
let's talk about it.
Yeah. So we talk about diversity. We talk about, you know, let's see. We also had something about, like, equality when it comes to school-age children and, like, you know, trying to have people of color promoted the same way and, you know, in schools, and how that is tricky for people who are not people of color because you want the best for your kid. However, if you also believe in equality for everyone, then that means that your kid won't get the best of everything. You have to make some kind of choice there. And I read a really cool book. I had a friend also read a very cool book. And Simone and I talked on that episode about that subject and about the study that was done on some white families, affluent white families in particular. And, like, that's how it goes. Like, I am constantly studying. I'm on, like, book number 70 for the year.
Wow.
I read a lot. And most of it's nonfiction. And so I am barreling through books. I am barreling through topics. We sit with topics about gender, and, you know, like, we have a whole episode just on masculinity, one that's just on femininity. You know, there's one of the most recent episodes I know that, Matt, you listened to was the one that was on body dysmorphia and gender dysphoria. And, you know, that's a thing. The one that's coming up tomorrow, actually, as of the date that we record this, is on fat phobia and eating disorders. The toxic masculinity episode is coming up. I'm also going to be talking about Fire Emblem as an IP.
Yay!
And the Phantom of the Opera, the Lon Chaney movie from, you know, black and white era, and so on. Like, whatever. Like, we were talking about all of Alok's poetry in an earlier episode this year.
Yeah.
And boy, that was I was so happy to have somebody to talk to about that. But like anything that I'm reading or anything that I really like, anything that I feel is very cool that I just want to bring to light for people is something that is, you know, primed for being like a media item for my show. We are going to be also covering all of Dishonored as an IP. And what I mean by that IP episodes is like, let's talk about, yes, what the cool thing is that this IP does as whatever it is, a video game in this case. So what does Dishonored do that is very cool as an overarching thing? But also, let's talk about the world building. Let's talk about the lore. Let's talk about the art style. Let's talk about its longevity. What has it influenced for video games overall? And you can also hear that in other episodes, like the Metroid Fusion episode was 3.5 hours of...
It took like four listening sessions to get through it all.
Whoa.
Yes, 3.5 hours. And that's because I had 3 guests on, and the more guests you have, the longer the episode gets. But also, everybody was really excited. And everybody had stuff to say. And so I was trying to wrap it at like 2.5 because that's usually my cutoff point. You know, like I'm not going to go over 2.5. But then I'm like, okay, any final thoughts? 55 minutes later, we wrap.
Yeah, it's an hour from the final thoughts. It was pretty funny.
I know. So, but yeah, like folks in my community are just like really excited to talk about these topics. I have a list of topics that far exceeds my production rate. So I have episodes planned for the indefinite future, for sure.
That's
I
amazing.
love that.
That's so awesome. I mean, I think what's really cool about something like that is kind of getting your footing in on another podcast and then being able to bring part of that audience to just hear what you have to say, but also something for me as like I'm personality driven for the podcast I listen to, and yet somehow I still listen to Tales from the Backlog. I'm kidding, Dave. I love you. You're great.
Such a sweet.
He is the sweetest. I'm guested on a show that's not airing till like 10 years from now because that's like he's so far ahead on his production schedule. I'm very jealous. But no, in all seriousness, like I was drawn to Dave's podcast because he has a personality. And then like I heard your episode on you were on the Resident Evil 4 remake. Mm-hmm. And like I had heard you in other places and we had chatted on his Discord. And after hearing that episode, I was like, oh, cool, I like these two people who are guesting on this. What are their and like that's kind of how it goes for me. Like how I used to listen to music where like features on rap albums would lead me to other rappers that I liked, and then their features would lead me to other rappers. I do that with podcasts now. I listen to a podcast if it has a guest and I like the guest. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Yep. When I went to your feed and then I saw like the diversity of topics, I went, this is awesome. I think it's really cool that you kind of just do what you want, but also are diving. So like I listened today to I'd started it before, but I didn't finish it until today, the body dysmorphia and gender dysphoria conversation. And like as someone who came out as non-binary not that long ago, and as someone who has struggled with gender identity and my own weight and body dysmorphia as well, like it was just such a fascinating kind of candid conversation talking about not only your own struggles with that stuff, but like sharing personal stories of your struggle, like in letting people in, not just talking about it like topically and factually. It seems like bringing a personal touch is really important to your podcast.
Yeah, the way that I structure the episodes is usually like we have the intro part, which is like, here's the academia version of it. All the stuff that I studied, here's the regurgitated bit about that. And then after that, I always try to list like experiential questions. So what is it that, you know, your personal experience, like I think of questions that I think would be engaging and have some mileage and, you know, like be some subjects that people would be interested in hearing about. And then we just kind of go through those. Now, sometimes those questions end up getting answered while we're going through the academic section, because it's not just like a dry read of notes.
Right.
We're reading it and we're also commenting on it as we go. So, you know, I also do want to say that I try to the best of my ability to pull people who I specifically think of that I know who have experience in whatever it is that we're talking about at that time, or who is grappling with it, or, you know, has a history or whatever. But also that the people that I bring on are of diverse backgrounds and situations, you know, different people of color, different people with different gender identities, and this, that, and the other. Like, I don't want it to be just, you know, the same kind of whitewashed, you know, thing that you end up getting in a lot of situations, because the pod sphere is it's getting better now, but it's primarily still like a white male activity. So, I'm trying to bring other voices and other perspectives so that whoever wants to listen is going to be able to see it from a different view and be able to think about that, sit with that, and then go, oh, I never thought about that from this angle before. And it's really, there's going to be times where we're going to be tackling a subject and it's tied to the media that I'm doing. I'm not going to do that all the time because then that gets a little bit too hairy with, well, I want to talk about this thing, but I can't think of a topic to go with it or whatever. I don't want to jack with that too much. But say, for example, we're going to be doing internet and identity, an introduction episode. That's going to be a recurring topic. And so grappling with the online persona versus real life persona and talking about that. And then the next episode is going to be on simulacra video games, which that's a big element of those. So.
Oh, I love that. That's brilliant.
Wow.
That's really smart. I'm curious, you mentioned you read, what was it, 70-something books already this year?
Yeah. What? I barely struggled with one this past year.
I listened to a lot
more. It's a
more.
fantasy novel, too. So, like, what?
It's mostly audiobooks for me. Like, I like to listen to people talk, obviously, as a podcaster as well. But, like, I'm curious, what is since you mentioned these topics that you're talking about and you're always doing research, I'm curious, what book are you reading right now?
I just finished up a book that's called Burnout, and that book is specifically about the sensation of burnout. And I'm recording an episode tomorrow on unraveling grind culture, and it's an intro topic to a larger subject that we're going to be talking about wellness-wise. Burnout is going to be its own episode eventually. It'll be worked in, of course, to this coming episode as well. But anyway, this Burnout book is probably the best book I've read this year, actually, of all 70 of them. It's specifically from like an assigned female at birth perspective, or female identifying, but specifically, assigned female at birth because that's who's been studied, that they were focusing on for this book, because the stressors that people who are assigned female at birth have are unique because of things like childcare and things like, misogyny and patriarchy. So, yes, there's toxic masculinity. We are addressing that as well in later episodes. We will be coming back to this. But, in this particular book, it's talking about that perspective. And it's really interesting, just in terms of when I was going through it, it kind of elucidated the reasoning behind some of the things that I do. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize all of these are like coping mechanisms to keep me from breaking down. Cool. And finding the words for me is very often the way that I can like unlock something in my brain and allow me to focus on it. I can't focus on it until I have those words to just bring clarity. So a lot of my show overall is stuff I'm interested in. Yes, it's me pouring out whatever I'm interested in, but it's also me being wellness coach. It's also me learning things and growing as a person. All the people who come on the show learn and grow as people or have fun or whatever. And then I so often get thanked by people who are on the show when they're off air going, that was really like a weight off of me. I feel great for having talked through all of that. And so it's really helpful and beneficial to everyone who's recording at that time, but then also folks who listen in, because again, sometimes it's stuff that people are curious about, but they haven't really, they don't know how to approach the subject or where to look or who to ask. And this is kind of like a jumping point where people can really start to trigger their curiosity.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm curious if because it sounds like it based on what you're talking about, but do you think your history as a personal trainer and as like a life coach influence how you host the show with guests as well as how you bring it to your audience?
I would say so, just because like even within my own Discord community, like that space is not open invite. I have to know who you are before you go in there, because I have to make sure that I'm protecting the people who are there. Because everyone who is there does like how they do on the show. They open up and they tell you stuff. Yeah. And, they are laying bare and becoming vulnerable and learning and growing with each other. And there are people with so many different walks of life and with different perspectives. And, there are times when people butt heads because there are differences. But at the end of the day, everybody, they're well-intentioned, they mean well, they learn each other and learn how to better communicate with one another and ultimately grow as a result of those differences. And, it's a space in which everybody is there to be safe and to grow and be able to talk about stuff that maybe they don't feel comfortable talking about somewhere else. And that's essentially, again, what the show itself is like. Like when we're recording, it's the same as any conversation that happens in my actual server. So, as somebody who is like a behavior change specialist and a nutrition coach and a wellness coach and a personal trainer and all these other things, so designations and stuff, like, I became a trainer in the first place because I wanted to help people. And training is one of various things that I do. I was doing artwork before I did training. And when I was doing the artwork, it was still for the same reason. I taught myself how to draw so that I could illustrate my writing. And I wanted to tell stories and paint things and whatever in order to help people feel like they're not alone, to feel like they have, some way to learn and grow, because I learned and grew from all the things that I read and watched and played and everything growing up. And at some point I realized that I had an even greater effect on people when I was directly acting with them, right? So then I started shifting into personal training because I was like a gallery represented artist for a long time and took commissions, and I have an Etsy store still, but that's a whole other thing. Then I was like, oh, I'm going to do personal training. I'm going to help people with stuff one-on-one, all of that. I was teaching boot camps, I was doing personal training, I was running classes, and pandemic hit, and I was just online at that point, and I remain online because I'm now juggling 70 other things.
Yeah.
The podcast is the same reason. I do the podcast to help people feel like they're not alone, to grow, to learn, to whatever, because I want to raise the level of the water for everybody.
I love that. That's so kind. And
yeah.
God, it's funny.
I podcast because I want attention.
I mean,
hey, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with validation. And not only that, but it's really important that you know this, for one, and that you aren't afraid to ask for what you want.
Ooh, dang! What are you in a DM? Like you're me to my friends in my DMs. Where I'm like, it's okay to like things and think that you deserve good. Can we start? Can I like hello? Can I tap you for some like? I felt so,
now like so. It's funny because there are things like
I'm like sweating even more now. Someone told me I was okay.
I mean, this is kind of one of the major reasons why I wanted to have you on, Jala, is because, like, from the moment we first started talking, interacting, I was like, this is a person who wants to, like, understand and, like, you have conversations online all the time where people are just kind of there, kind of chatting, right? And, like, that's fine. It's water cooler talk online through Twitter or whatever. But every time we've talked in a DM, it's like, oh, and here's this thing. Oh, and Matt, I just did this, and I think this is like, you want to have an actual conversation online, and that's so
and you're like,
rare.
No, Jala.
No.
I am way too busy for that. Okay,
Not at all.
I'm not even gonna reply to that. All right, we're not. I do not need the conversation today.
Matt, aka Stormageddon, have you left Jala-chan on red?
I would never.
Could you?
But like, it's just like when I ask other folks to guest on the show, what really like locked it in that I was like, you're a great guest and I really like your show even more, is when I asked you to guest on the show, you asked what the show is about, and I shared that with you, and then you were like, oh, well then I've got this idea and I could talk about this. And we also we didn't like, you wanted to be collaborative immediately from the get. You weren't just like, yeah, sure, I'll be on, which is fine too. It's clear that you have a passion for the work you do, and I get that not only in just listening to your podcast, but how you interact with others, how you run your community, like all of that stuff. It's really cool to see, because I don't get to see it as often as I would like.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is that, like, people can always tell whether or not you're sincere, and that sincerity goes so far in helping you to help yourself and others. Like, your sincerity opens doors to whatever you want to do. But also, your sincerity makes you an open book that people want to come and talk to you. And, like, again, like all the people that are in my server, all the people that are on my show, like these aren't just random people. Like I don't just invite random people on my show. They are people that, if I don't know a whole lot about them, I get a good feel from them, and I know other people who know them, and I trust their opinions and so on and so forth. But like, or sometimes the show is like the way to get to know them better.
Yeah.
And, like it's something where, because we're so connected right now, the way that we are in the world today, we're so connected, we're so inundated that there's not really a lot of focus. And so it's hard for people to be sincere and to give that presence, right? So just giving a little bit of that is what I'm trying to do, and what I'm trying to, like inspire in other people as well.
You're absolutely doing it. So please don't stop.
Yeah.
This was wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Jala. This was incredible.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Before we wrap up and thank some folks and ask you our final question, I would love for you to tell folks where they can find you online, where they can find the shows, where they can do all the following and liking and retweeting. Like, just tell folks where they can pick up all this cool stuff that you're putting out.
So, I am everywhere in the world that I may be found at Jala-chan, in places on the internet or wherever. Even, fun fact, even when I was running marathons and stuff, my bib always said Jala-chan, so I was literally in marathons as Jala-chan as well.
Amazing.
So, I've got a brand. So, Jala-chan.place is my URL. You can go and get my stuff there. From Jala-chan.place, there are links to my personal training as well as my Etsy store. And also, you can catch the sister show of my show that's part of the Fireheart Media Network. That's, what we call ourselves. Monster would be Dave's cool show that he does with some folks that are very cool, including, I have to give this episode and this particular host a shout out. Cameron, who is from Monster Dear Monster, who was on the Death Positivity episode, which is probably one of the funniest fucking episodes of my show. And he tells a wild story about a day in the morgue.
Oh, amazing.
You have to listen to that episode. It's wild. It's
awesome.
Very wild.
Well, definitely go check all that stuff out. Jala is great.
It was so easy to follow Jala. I did it now.
Rachel just did it just like that. So easy.
Twitter,
so easy,
Insta,
even Rachel
bang,
can do
bang,
it.
Done. If I can do it,
Anyone
why
can
haven't
do it.
you?
Exactly.
Why haven't you watched Kung Fury, and why haven't you followed Jala-chan? Come on.
Let's
Listeners,
go.
get it together.
Let's go. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, for all of that. Everyone go check all of that out.
Yep.
Before we wrap up, though, Rachel, I think we should probably thank a few folks.
Yes, we absolutely should. I have so much gratitude for John Presnell for letting us use the song Aurora off the album Fair Game featuring Stefan Remble.
And I am so grateful to the incredible Katie Bug, a.k.a. Katie Beast, who made our incredible brand new logo, revamped it.
It looks so good.
Thank you.
Made just me my PFP.
Yeah,
Like
Katie made us look so hot.
Oh, Katie, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I mean it.
Literally going to put that logo literally everywhere. But thank you for that incredible redesign.
Thank you.
And I guess we should thank our home away from home, the podcast
yes,
network.
Thank you to the Certain Point of View podcast network for continuing to allow us to be part of that community.
Yes.
You can join the community, find out about other shows if you go to certainpov.com.
And all three of these humans are there. All three of us are already on that server. Hanging out.
Loving.
Posting hot pictures of Samus, which is my favorite part.
Yeah, living together, sharing the laughter and love,
It makes a really good screen.
Yeah.
Wow. Love that.
Yeah.
Yes, certainpov.com has a permanent invite link to our Discord server. Yes. You can also find those links in the show notes, along with links to our Apple Podcast and Spotify listing. Please rate and review us in all the places.
Yeah,
then if you go to listen to Jala's show, rate and review her show as well, because
and
literally...
find whatever episode you listen to, find all of Jala's guests.
Yes, and then go like
that,
their shows.
Go, yeah,
it's just forever.
Just an endless hit
Of rating and
independent
reviewing.
creators just
Oh,
rating
but
and
it-
reviewing.
But in all
The real
seriousness,
MC Escher of rating and reviewing.
all right,
But
enough.
you know, it's so easy. I've been
It's so
recently
easy.
doing that. I'm trying to slowly but surely tackle like 5 a day, right? Because there's so many, right?
Yeah.
And so it really is that easy, though.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely.
Please
that's
do.
not-
It also is the way to help podcasters. Like you could join our Patreon, buy our merch, all that stuff. But like
Which you
really
should.
rating, which you should. But rating and reviewing is also one of the best ways to really help a podcaster.
Yeah.
So please do it. I think that's everything. And go yell at a bird.
Toss a rate to your casters.
Please no, stop. All right. I think we've
Yes.
I don't know. I'm completely
Broken our
lost.
brains
Rachel,
once
please,
again.
Please
yes.
ask our guest our final question.
I will be delighted. Jala, I would love to know if you could choose any one trope that is often used in film and television to instantly and magically become true in your life, which trope would you choose?
I would say rags to riches because if I had that trope, then that means that I could turn around and help a whole hell of a lot more people who are struggling right now.
I love that answer. An answer with heart.
Bang,
Let's
bang.
go.
Yeah.
Finger snaps without actually snapping, so I
That's-
don't ruin the
yeah,
recording.
Yep, exactly. That's what we do here. Hey, listeners, you'll never know if we don't say it out loud. Snapping our fingers.
Snapping our fingers. Excellent answer. Jala, thank you again for
Yeah, thank
joining
you,
us. This was
Jala.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and it was wonderful to meet you as well, Rachel.
Yeah, likewise.
Friends for life now. I'm declaring it. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here so we don't all melt into a puddle in the extreme heat that we're all experiencing. So I will now take this opportunity. My brain is so fried.
Yeah,
to thank
no, it's you,
my
you
incredible
know it's
podcast
the hot
host.
podcast
It's the-
season.
it's the
We're
hot-
like, how do
right.
we get out of here?
How do we get out of the show? We're
Help.
trapped in the show.
We're trapped. It's so hot. It's making it harder to leave.
I would like to thank my incredible, brilliant,
Yes.
effervescent, curler-haired co-host, Rachel Quirky Shank.
Complete disaster person. Yes, that's me. And I would love to thank my It's 30 Minutes co-host, Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
And we would like to thank you, our incredible listeners. Thank you for being here with us, as always. And we will see you at the movies or on a couch somewhere. Bye-bye.
Aurora, 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 Aurora. Metal to magnet, she will be mine. Aurora.
So, I have a question. Have you ever wanted to get into comics but you just didn't know where to start? Well, welcome to Comics Quest. I'm JD Martin, and every week I sit down with a guest to talk a comic that I think anybody can pick up and start their comics reading journey. We take a look at psychedelic sci-fi, fantastical action, heart-wrenching love stories, and of course, superheroes. So check us out at certainpov.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
CertainPOV.com.